Unmuting myself, turning my camera, pausing recording, resume recording. Resume recording. Boom. We're gonna go live in 3, 2, 1, go. See if we go on live on my timeline. We are going live on my timeline. Okay, I'm live. All right, I'm live. Sweet. Let me go to my Zoom window here. Got it. Got it. Meeting is now live streaming on Facebook. Great. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Robert LaFrance. If you're seeing this, we're friends on Facebook, and I hope you know my name and who I am. Today, I'm going to be going over how to earn 6 figures annually by investing in cash flowing real estate. And those are great numbers. The bigger the numbers, the bigger the payouts, and the bigger the deals, the bigger the payouts. And essentially, this is going to be beneficial for anyone who's ever considered about investing in real estate, because it's really going to help you become more familiar with the process and know what to expect and how similar it is with the single family side of things if you've ever been a homeowner and purchased a home before. But you're going to see a lot of similarities between residential and commercial, and how maybe commercial is easier than residential. And if you're in your building momentum or scaling phases of your entrepreneurial journey, this might be beneficial too, because being in real estate for a long time, working with a lot of different real estate professionals, there's a lot of different opinions and approaches to real estate. And if you're any of the sellers, if you turn out to be any of the sellers that I end up negotiating with, it's because something went wrong. Okay, so I hope this serves you in some capacity, and become aware of how much opportunity is out there and where you can actually pull money from that you might not even be aware of, and how your money is being used in the existing and potential most common opportunities of investing with banks and stuff like that, 401k. So that's going to be going over. I'm going to go over this slideshow. All right, I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning last night, and I felt compelled to go live and talk about this information, and I updated my my slideshow on this. So this is the fruits of today's labor. I'm going to switch tabs to the presentation, and we're going to get started. Boom. Share. Okay. We're going to be talking about 5 different areas that you need to become aware of, and that's how it's going to be helpful no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey. Because even if you're not investing in real estate right now, if you're thinking about starting some business, or if you're already in business for yourself, what are you doing with your money to build wealth or secure your family's interests in future, or just structure a life so you can be a professional athlete at your own whim? Okay, so we're going to talk about how to add 6 figures annually investing in cash flowing multifamily assets. And let's hit present. Go full screen. All right, cool. So let's think about why you're here. What phase are you in your life? Are you in the starting, scaling, building momentum phase in your business? Okay, because we want to diversify our income, we want to have compounding interest, and we want to be making consistent returns on our investments. And one of the things that I was always taught is, hey, when you take your paycheck, split it up percentage-wise into living and savings and bills and all that stuff. And so most people should be doing that anyway. So if you're doing that, where are you putting your money? And then if you're, like I said before, if you're a business owner, you understand the opportunity that comes with being an entrepreneur. All right. So where are you in your phases, and why are you here? All right. Do you want to build wealth through hands-off real estate investing? Boom. That's a straightforward question. That's either yes or no. And if that's yes, you can stay. If it's not, well, then thank you for tuning in. Okay. To become empowered with the wealth building strategies used by the rich. I grew up hearing that you get rich through real estate. All right. But there's a certain way and a certain niche in real estate that you can become wealthy quicker. And these strategies, some of those strategies I'm going to come over and simplify in this presentation. All right. And the biggest thing here is to make a difference in your life and the lives of others, your family, your community, whether that's like repainting the building with a nice Tony mural so it like brightens up the neighborhood, or you want to start a nonprofit for veteran retreats or housing for veterans in Texas. There's all kinds of opportunities and greatness that you can do with having an abundance of income that's more than just materialistic possessions, and that you can participate in after you've taken care of you and yours and put your family's oxygen mask on and secure your future. There's all kinds of stuff happening right now. All right. So what are the most common ways to earn passive income? A lot of people think it's only passbook savings or CDs with your bank, annuities, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Those are it. That's what I always thought. And then real estate, but I didn't know in what capacity or what level. All right. So there's another way, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And my name is Robert. If you're a new friend on Facebook, this is my mission. This is what I've been working on since I separated from the Navy. I'm on a mission to help veterans find camaraderie, a sense of purpose, and financial stability, because I remember how important those three categories were to me as I was transitioning out into the civilian workforce, starting my business, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So if you want to think about the amount of opportunity right now, there's a ton of opportunity right now. Consider what you're hearing everywhere. That's cool. Just listen to what I'm saying right now. All right. There's a ton of opportunity. This is an ad that we found. We search properties from Craigslist, LoopNet, Google searches, multifamilies for sale. We find properties with people that put information and the numbers like this out there so we can get a good idea and do our processes before wasting anybody's time and tying up properties. Okay. So 55 units for $4 million. It talks about how much money it's earning annually and monthly, almost $40,000, just over $40,000 a month. And so there's a ton of opportunity out there. And I've been able to lock up, at the time of making this slide, 29 units. I've actually had over 40 units under contract over the last year and a half. And I've actually watched each one of them slip away. And I'll talk about that later as we go through this presentation. But there's a ton of opportunity. This ad even says direct buyers only, no buyer reps. So when you learn this information that I'm going to address, and if you follow me at all, a lot of it is becoming empowered with the negotiation strategies and knowing the process enough to posture to represent yourself, and relying on the professionalism and the expertise of not just the real estate agent and broker that you're working with, but also the real estate attorney and the rest of your team that you're going to be communicating with throughout this long process. All right. Unless everybody moves efficiently, like everyone, and you legitimately have quick access to cash, then you can close really, really quickly. But last year I had every one of my team members during the inspection get COVID, and it took them over a month to heal and respond with the information. It was crazy. It was almost like, hey, do they even want to sell this property to me? It was crazy. All right. And we're coming up into Q4 of 2023, and there's a lot of information about the multifamily market housing collapse, and the numbers support that. And that means that it's a great opportunity for us to help these distressed sellers out that are actually where their loans are coming due from their 5-year loan. There's a lot of information. I'm not going to go over that, but there's a lot of opportunity, and that's my point. Okay. So the agenda today is we're going to be talking about the 5 things that real estate investors do that you should know. All right. So if you're thinking of becoming one, or already work with some, here's some more insight. What do these guys do? What am I doing? What are we doing? And how does this whole game and thing operate? Okay. And who makes the rules? Is this the Wild West out there? Sometimes bad things happen, and maybe it's because the two parties or one party took advantage of another party who didn't know this information. Okay. The real estate investor system and the worst case scenario, and how it's actually a good scenario depending on what side of the table you're on. But we need to use those words, worst case scenario, because it's real. We're dealing with big assets, we're dealing with people's lives, and we're dealing with a lot of money, and nobody wants to lose that stuff. Okay. So, and then we're going to talk about funding options, because that's always important in this niche of things. Okay. I can't see any comments right now that I think about it. One moment, just to see if I should readjust my screens or something. Where's my thing? Facebook. All right, no comments yet. And I'm sharing this screen. Forgive me. This. Maybe if I go, thank you for your patience. One moment. Let me just get this set up so I can give you the attention that you deserve. Okay. All right, you know what? I'm just going to continue with the slideshow. I'm sorry. Drop the comments below, and I'll answer them as after the video with maybe more content. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so the goal today is to talk to you about how your investments currently work and to share with you alternatives and how this real estate process works. Okay, today is an educational training. Only this is a slide that I made when I was doing my private money luncheons. Congrats. If you're on the East Coast, it's damn near lunchtime now, so I'm still accurate. All right. Who we are. It's me and my business partner, Cody. Okay, we're two veterans helping veterans. We come from the Navy and we're veterans and we like working with veteran personnel. We're former Navy divers, okay? And there's a lot of skills and transferable skills that come from being a creative problem solver underwater to problem solving out of the water. Okay, and so we problem solve. And if you're getting into this industry, you're going to want to be creative and have fun with this process and look at things from all angles, because there's a lot of money to be made if you're able to get creative and look at things outside the box and make sure everybody wins and all the checks are boxed. Okay, we've been addressed as sophisticated real estate investors. That was a huge compliment from our attorney upstate New York, and I want to put that on there. All right. I've gotten a lot of deals under contract. Unfortunately, over the last year, I haven't been able to close on any of them because of quick access to cash. All right, people have cash, they're out there investing in all kinds of things, and then when it's time to do the capital calls, in my experience, capital calls have not produced the fruit to close on these things. Okay, and that's just the reality of it, and you need to be aware of that as you get into this, to have your wallet really set up. I'm not saying that my wallet isn't set up. I have a list of lenders that have rogered up, but when it comes time for the capital call, you need to have backups to the backups, I guess. Okay, so, and here's some reviews about me. You know, I volunteer as a mentor on Veterati for transitioning retiring military into entrepreneurship and real estate. And those are the people that I've helped and the things that they've said. All right. I like to empower our communities with this information because you can do anything that you want. And you know that. All right. But here's one more reminder that you can really do incredible things with real estate as a catalyst to live your best life and build passive income. All right. And I've learned creative ways to find money and transfer funds and buy property. Okay, and so I got a certificate for learning how to utilize private money and purchase and acquire cash flowing assets without using a national institution or bank in the beginning. All right, in the beginning. All right, so if you have questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll respond to them after. I can't see the comments right now, and I just want to get through this. So I want to make sure that I get this information out to you before my next appointment. All right, 5 things real estate investors do that you should know. All right, what are we doing? What do you need to know? Well, we got to learn the niche and find group. When I started in real estate, I became a real estate agent in 2016. I started working in single family homes representing veteran first-time military relocation first-time buyers. Okay, and that's where I got into it. And then through my journey in my career, I realized where the money was and the opportunity to make more money, and then at what side of the table I wanted to sit on. So that takes time. You got to learn the niche. And now I'm here in the commercial side of things, confident enough to look at these big numbers and actually gain the confidence and realize how easy or simple it is to process these bigger deals once you get past your own intimidation of the responsibility. Okay, and finding the groove. Is this you? Where are you at in your process? And are you willing to do what it takes to get to this point? All right, you got to find and negotiate deals and do due diligence. You got to screen price. You got to do the paperwork, and you got to find and negotiate and manage the professionals involved. And that can be a big team. You're talking about 3 different property management companies. You're talking about attorneys for contracts. You're talking about trash removal, utility companies, HUD. You know, you're talking to different people in the area to get more information. So you know, do you have the time to do this? Do you have the willingness to do this? And are you able to communicate with these people in the right way to make sure everybody gets what they need? Okay. 3, establish team and process. Kind of talked about that, but now you got to establish the team and process and make sure it's successful after you close on this deal. All right. Exit strategy. What happens if things go bad? If you get something under contract and there's money on the table, and you know where all the due diligence items received, there's things that you have to consider before you start running out there. Now, I agree with the statement, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice, 100%. But when you're dealing with multi-million-dollar properties, or even a $350,000 property in someone's lives and 12 other people's lives because it's a multifamily, you got to be considerate. All right. And so what is the course of action through the process as these challenges come up? Because there's always going to be new challenges. Okay. And that's what makes this exciting, because as simple as it is, there's enough things to keep it excited for it to still be like work. Okay, if something was wicked easy, we wouldn't appreciate it. I mean, look at how most people treat their bodies. Okay, do you have any strategies for an exit, and does the person you're trying to partner with think that way? All right. 5, managing the asset, add value and refinance systems for hands off. All right, do they have that? Are you willing to learn that stuff, and what are those processes? So those are things that real estate investors need to do in order to manage a successful cash flowing asset up to a refinance and beyond. Okay, because the idea behind these is to buy and hold, and then you also have the option to add value and sell it, and then put that into a bigger deal, and then just keep going and going and going. And it's just totally up to you what you want to do. All right, things real estate investors do that you should know continued. All right, we designed huge cash payouts that we were just talking about. We were talking about the refinance, all right, where you pull the equity and the value out of the property that you originally purchased it from, all right, or even selling it if you want to. Okay, but however, we need to address the fact that refinances are tax-free because you don't pay taxes on loans, versus a sale, you would have to pay taxes on that, or you would put it into another property and defer it, something like a 1031 exchange or something of that nature. But there's no argument in the fact that you don't pay taxes on loans, and you need to consider that if you're a businessman or woman, an entrepreneur, because if you want to make more money or earn more money, the first thing is to be in business and maximize tax write-offs and know how to use and manage your money. And one of that ways is understanding how loans work. And this is how we use loans in real estate. We get huge 6-figure cash payouts tax-free from the refinance of the property. Okay, and that's where negotiation is super important. Yeah, if it isn't just to not over leverage the lenders, okay, and to pay less taxes and keep more money, like I already said. All right, so who makes the rules? That's the next section. Someone's got to control this game that we're in, okay, and that organization is the Securities Exchange Commission. They have information right here. You can web search them, and then go to their website. You can choose the state and the information, and I also have resources for you to communicate with a local attorney, an SEC attorney, whatever attorney that you need for your deals, contracts, and partnerships, and promissory notes, and the documents that you should be receiving when pursuing real estate ventures. Okay, so the Securities Exchange Commission was designed to prevent Ponzi schemes from happening. And essentially, on the right here, you can see it was created in the aftermath of the Wall Street crash, and it's designed to essentially secure investors' interests, but more importantly, the economy. That's what they really care about. All right. And so there's simple rules that they need us to follow to move money across lines, okay? Because unless you have a significant amount of cash in each state or are independently wealthy and already know this, if you find money that's not from a national or institutional lender or in that state, you're going to have to move money across state lines, and there's rules to that. And you need to either register for the state if you need to register in that state, or if you earn a certain dollar amount, or you're exempt because you earn less than a certain dollar amount, or that state doesn't require it. And that's super simple. It's just a sheet of paper, and I'll take care of that for you if that's something that you need to do, or you should be able to take care of for somebody else that you want to be partnering with. Okay, you want to be aware of that because you don't want to mess with the SEC. Who makes the rules? All right, I heard this saying. This was the saying that was taught to me: "Thee who holds the gold makes the rules." Okay, "Thee who holds the gold makes the rules." Now, who has the gold in this situation? Think about it for a second. I would say both people have gold. Okay, the real estate investors have and structure deals. They are structuring and have cash flow in hand, presenting to anyone who can help them close it, like cash flow forever. They have discounted cash flow. And since I said discounted cash flow, when you're in this side of real estate investing and cash flowing residential commercial real estate, oh man, I just got so excited and I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Okay, so real estate investors haven't structured the deals. Oh, we're buying cash flow at a discount. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. Woo, good morning. Okay, so these buildings, these agents, these sellers, they're saying, hey, buy me, buy my $300,000 a year cash flow for this amount once. Buy $300,000 for, let's say you're buying cash flow at a discount, and that's so exciting when you realize, when you focus your energy on, wait a second, I'm buying a stream of income at a discount. They're willing to negotiate with me and give it away to me, and I just have to nurture it and keep the plant going, you know what I mean, versus working for earnings. Like we're buying cash flow versus, oh, I have to manage an apartment building. No, you don't. You should be able to just create a system or have a system in place where you're collecting checks from the property management that you screened and set up a system with beforehand. Okay. So you're buying discounted cash flow, and that's super exciting. But back to my statement, he who holds the gold makes the rules. Both parties hold the rules in the gold. Okay. The real estate investors are experienced enough in protecting the sellers and the whole team involved and the future of the success of this deal by structuring it the way that they're doing it and presenting to you as a partner or closing on it, whether or not you're a partner or you're a buyer, you're presenting this thing for forever success, right? And then the people with money also have the financial ability, you know, the cash that's actually needed to close on the deal. So it's an interdependent relationship. And when you're an asset-based lender, you know how to look at the numbers, or if you're a real estate investor and you know how to look at the numbers and set it up for success, it should just make sense when you look at it. Okay. So it's just important because sometimes people are like, oh, well, I have all the money, I should have all the control. Yeah, but how much experience do you have in owning and managing and negotiating these kinds of assets at this dollar amount? You know, if you want to learn, that's great. If you're hungry, willing, and coachable, that's great. Work with someone so you don't burn your first house down. Okay. A lot of people see success at first, that's cool, but a lot of people don't see success at first. And that's why there's vacant 14-unit buildings for sale in Georgia that aren't making any money, and people are paying a lot of money on holding a half-completed building. Okay, so you just want to make sure you do this right, right? Think about your current return on investments. What are you doing with your current money, your current cash? Are they secured? Are they hassle-free and hands-off like this? All right, once we design this thing, depending on what side of the table you're on. All right, if you're a real estate investor buying these properties, they're not so much hassle-free and they're not so much hands-off. All right, if you're a lender, you are definitely hassle-free and more hands-off. And I think it's the best side of the table to be on. And we're going to go over that shortly. And then what all this is, everything I'm going over is just food for thought and being able to have the conversation with whoever you're going to be working with. All right, it builds that connection. And SEC rules require you to have 3 contacts over 30 days before you can even talk about transferring money or lending money in any way. All right, so you want to get to know someone for at least 30 days and have 3 lunches with them before you talk about it. All right, that's just the rules, and it'll probably look out for your best interest so you don't lose a bunch of money because you were taken advantage of for some reason. All right, and you got attorney oversight over the whole thing. Don't be doing this on your own. You want to have an attorney in your back pocket. If you're not using an attorney regularly in your life, are you at the level of success that you really want to be in? And using an attorney doesn't have to be legal action in the courtroom. You could be document review, employee benefits, you know, hey, I have a question about this law in this state or whatever. You know, you want to be using these professionals and screening these professionals and building these relationships, and they can become fruitful down the road when they're bringing you opportunities. Okay. So here's some 4 questions that you want to ask and consider when communicating with somebody. What deals do you have now? You know, these are just conversations, asking questions, you're vetting them, getting to know what's going on. And even if they don't have any deals right now, why not? It's okay. Why don't you, what's going on in the market? What's going on with your experience? You want to get to know these people. What's your secondary and tertiary plans? Do you have them? Do they need them? You know, it's okay, but it's good to ask the question to see where people's minds are at and how they answer it so you can get familiar with how they do business. All right, how is my cash secured? All right, that's a solid question that everybody should answer. I should probably move that up to the very first one. How is my cash secured? I'm going to answer that right now. It's secured in the real estate itself. Real estate is a real asset versus like stocks and stuff that's out there. Okay. If anything happened to our currency or our economy, we have buildings that are bringing in some type of currency in the economy, and that would be transferable to some new form of currency if that were to ever happen. So real estate is a real asset. It's the dirt, and so the way that we negotiate these deals is that your money is secured in a real estate asset and it's you've got it less than what it's worth. So if anything were to happen, there's an opportunity for you to earn more than what you actually put in. And I said that kind of fast, but if you just think about there's an opportunity to earn more than you actually put in, then that's the most important part. All right. What paperwork do I get? There's documents that you need and attorney oversight for that. And that's what makes all of this legit. All right. And after that, you want to know and let go. All right. Keep moving. Think about how your bank makes money today. Let's think about how our banks make money. They take in money. We put in money for use every single day on low interest savings, IRAs and CDs. That's if you're putting in some types of investment into your bank. All right. Then they loan the money out at a higher rate of interest to other people as mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and et cetera. And so they make money on the spread. All right. That's how our banking system works, and that's what actually happens if you didn't know that. And so there's an opportunity in the real estate niche to also do the same thing. And that's, I think, I mean, what most real estate investors should be working towards is becoming the bank, having your money work for them, and then enjoying the fruits of your labor, whatever that means to you. Okay. The banks make money on the spread. So that's the difference of what they pay versus what they get paid, being the bank. Being the bank offers much higher returns on your investment dollars and allows you to keep control. And it's the best thing. If you think about the home that you live in, if you live in a home, a house, single family, whatever, if you own some type of real estate, the bank owns it. They can foreclose and take it from you if you fail to meet your obligations of the contract. And that's the same thing that we do in the real estate investing realm, is that we lend money, or the idea is to lend money to each other and then have it work for you as you grow and scale together. And so this training is how you can become the bank once you get started. The two best ways to collect passive income, in my opinion, is private mortgage lending and self-directing. That's talking about self-directing your investments. Okay. Now I want to take a moment to consider why being the owner or the investor isn't listed up here. I think if you've been paying attention, I dropped a couple hints earlier, but why wouldn't the actual real estate investor be on the best ways to collect passive income list? I'm not saying it's a bad way, but let's think of that. All right. Being a private lender, all right, if you got cash, if you're saving up for cash, or if you have access to cash, or if you're already in the game, being a private lender is a great way to earn 5, 6, or 8 times the average rate of your return. Right. And it's in real estate and it's consistent. There's no ups and downs with the interest rates. You're in control because you choose who and when you loan money to. All right. And that can be a bad thing sometimes, especially when you're the investor. I'm like, hey, I got this deal locked up. Where you at? And you're like, oh, I'm on a cruise or whatever, Option for monthly income. That's great. We're all about building monthly passive income. And what's the best way to build monthly passive income that isn't going to make things worse or more challenging in our life? And the lender side of things is the way to go for that instance. Okay. In plain English, rather than someone else. Oh, sorry. What does self-directed investing mean? All right. That's where you are in control of your own investment strategies with your retirement accounts, for example, versus having some custodian out there that you don't know that's getting paid a commission or a salary or residual income monthly commissions from setting up your account to manage it in space with Facebook or some other organization for 30 years until you retire. Like I've set that up before. And once I kind of realized that side of things, it was in my interest. What I would prefer is to learn how to manage my own investments, because I consider myself investment savvy, especially in what I'm doing now. And I learned that using a self-directed IRA or the self-directed option in the retirement accounts allows us to execute a great tax benefit strategy, own real estate, take money out for myself, pay myself back interest, and all kinds of things. Okay. So rather than someone else deciding how and where you should invest your hard-earned money, you take control of your investment capital, utilizing the full list of potential investment options, not just the ones that get paid to direct you to. Right. So become empowered, learn your stuff, compare the two risks. All right. Compare risk of two options. Passbook savings, CDs. Okay. The ones that most people are aware of, those are FDIC insured. All right. It means that they have insurance. And what that really means, though, is I did a Google search earlier, is that the standard deposit insurance coverage limit is $250,000 per depositor, per bank, per ownership category. So that means that you have to have your money spread out amongst many banks in order to secure at least $250,000. Now that's only $250,000. We're talking about cash flowing real estate and earning 6 figures every year. And I plan on doing this for more than, 10 years. I plan on doing this multiple times a year. Okay. So that is interesting to consider, knowing that only a portion of your money has insurance when you're putting in another institution. And there's ways that you can secure your own cash. Okay. So real estate loans are not FDIC insured, but they secured by the property, like I said. And so that's a risk that you need to be aware of. You get to decide and mitigate how big of a risk that is, or if it is a risk. Do you need the government to insure your cash when you understand that you just purchased the property 50 cents on the dollar, or somebody else just purchased the property 50 cents on the dollar, and you're the bank and you get to either collect the fruits of the agreement or foreclose on the property and earn more than what you originally put in. It's not a good business to hope that someone fails, but there's advantages. So you got to outweigh the risks and rewards, and that's all I'm trying to say. All right, the biggest concern is protecting our cash, protecting our principal. The number one rule is that we never buy anything over or at 70% of its value. All right, that we do that to prevent over leveraging the property. All right, but it also gives us a bigger equity and take more cash out tax-free at the refinance down the road. Okay, so it offers additional security by not over leveraging the property. All right, there's always plenty of equity above your loan. All right, this is a visual representation of what I just described. All right, here's a property worth $100,000. All right, you wouldn't want to purchase that property for more than $70,000. All right, 70% of the loan to value. All right, so you don't want to find it much, much lower, and it is possible. You don't want to pay retail. You don't want to pay retail. There's no security in that, and that's not good business decisions. Okay, that's not how we do this over here. The documents that we need to make this legitimate and hold people accountable and execute on the agreements and know that we're going to get paid. All right, the documents needed. You need the original promissory note, which is a document. I can send anybody a copy of any of these things and some frequently asked questions. If you're interested, just put FAQ in the comments and I'll do that. All right, but an original promissory note is stating the agreement between two parties at the interest rate and how much that interest rate is per day over a period of time, and if there's any other agreements involved with the purchase of this asset, and that the purchase of the asset is going to be holding the value with the agreement. Pretty simple, right? Recorded mortgage, hazard insurance, title insurance, in case anything goes wrong. We're going to have documents saying that the agreements are in place, that there are liens in place, that the owner of the property is this entity, and that this financial person, institution is the lien holder, and all this stuff. And this is the agreement moving forward. And then now everybody in the community can know that this transaction happened and it's documented officially. All right, so you want to make sure you get those 4 documents, because that's where you're going to need them. You're going to need those in case of a fire, in case you need to foreclose, in case you want to drive by and say, hey, that's my property. All right, so back to all the seriousness. With additional risk comes the potential for higher returns. The bigger the deal, the bigger the reward. The bigger the numbers, the bigger payout. All right, just do your due diligence and mitigate risk prior to lending. All right, no one might go, I'd like to say that apparently. All right, the real estate investor system. What are we doing? What do you need to do? What should they be doing? All right, they got to find cash flow. They got to negotiate, lock up the contract with good contracts with an attorney. You got to do the inspections. You got to place and screen property management, maintain the property, refinance and repeat. That's what they're doing. There's work to be involved in this. All right, but if out of all the things that I've done in my life, the type of work that this requires is pretty sweet, but it is work. So it just depends on how much work that you would want to be doing and what you already have on your plate. Okay. To buy cash flow, investors prefer to borrow money from private asset-based individuals. Right? Specialty is distressed sellers in properties that can sell at a discount. They know where to look, what to buy, what not to buy, and how to add value. They should be increasing value by increasing the net profit. That's how we increase the value on these types of properties, is by keeping more money. All right. And so they can do that. You should do that by adding tenants if it's not 100% occupied, having tenants pay utilities, maintain the property, adding amenities where you can, etc., and get creative. Okay. We focus on cash flowing apartment buildings in this realm, in this paradigm, and maybe you should too. Okay. Availability of cash allows them to buy at a discount. I've kind of touched on that already. Okay. Let's talk about how to add 6 figures annually. All right. Boom. Step 1, real estate investors finding these deals and presenting them. 8 steps to locate and lock up that deal. Okay. Locate, lock up, line up. That's funny. So we're doing the inspection process and getting the system set up, making sure that the income is verified, lining up cash, and then we're transferring the funds for closing. All right, we're closing. Real estate attorney signing at the table, checks wired, all that stuff. Okay, the investor maintains and adds value, and sale or cash out refinance for the big payday. That's where the 6 figures comes in. Okay, especially if you're receiving a portion of that refinance from the deal because you helped make it work. Sometimes you got to get creative, and sometimes the deal doesn't allow big payouts because every deal is different, and it'll depend on the numbers and whether or not that's in your path towards success. But usually there are deals out there with big enough numbers for you to share the wealth. All right. And then if you share the wealth, what does that mean? You just get to do a bigger deal together the next time. Let's talk about that for a second. because we're talking about money. We're talking about making a lot of money. Sometimes, you know, I've been greedy before. I felt greedy. You know, it's hard to give up some money when you've worked 12 months on a deal and people are coming in and they're just like, yeah, let me get this. And it's like, okay, you have no idea what I've done to line this up. Okay. But if I were to share a percentage of the refinance with you that's tax-free, you now have a lender partner or a partner, you now have a larger sum of money to lend to another real estate investor to close on another deal. So by putting more money in other people's pockets, that's a great way for you to put more money in all of your pockets. Matter of fact, that's probably business 101 in any industry or niche that you're in. Find a way to put more money in other people's pockets and then perpetuate the goodness. Okay. So sale or cash out refinance is tax-free, and we're going to be paying a lower interest rate because we're refinancing with a different loan. And the principal and interest is returned within 12 to 18 months. Can you repeat the cycle? It's awesome. Okay. Here's how the 7 simple steps. Okay. You locate a real estate investor you want to work with. You self-direct your capital, your IRA funds, your cash, or whatever investment capital you have. You just move it to the closing agent for purchase at closing. They have a formal purchase closing, just like the bank. Real estate investor signs promissory note and mortgage is issued to you, secured by the property, just like the bank. Now you're playing real life Monopoly. You're playing real life Monopoly, and you're making payments from someone pass and go and living in your building or buying a piece of real estate on your behalf. And now you're collecting money. Real life Monopoly, dude. All right. And so you can either collect monthly interest payments or interest accrues until house sells. All right. It's up to you guys in your agreement. And what works, the deal really just depends. The deal mitigates that. The deal decides if it can even afford a monthly interest payment because it's all the numbers game, but it does. It's something that you need to be aware of. Investor sells and refinances property and a check is made for your principal and interest accrued and returned directly to you. All right. So property sold, you get your money back plus interest, do it again. You choose if you want to do it again. The real estate investor does all of the work. And let's talk about worst case scenario. What if they don't pay? Well, this is where things get better. You could earn more money. All right. Because the value is in the property, if you were to foreclose on it, sell it, take over ownership, because it's already a cash flowing asset, you can just take ownership. If they don't fulfill their agreement, you can, you go through the process and then you take ownership of the cash flowing asset that you weren't originally managing, but everything's in place for it to be on. It's an automated system now. So now you receive the monthly income from the property and you damn near own it outright, depending on how many liens or lender partners are on the asset. All right, so the best case, investor can deed the property over to you or your IRA. Worst case, you can foreclose on the property and get ownership or into the IRA. All right, then you can sell the property. Principal and profit is what you get. Sell the property, IRA. You can sell the property, and you or the IRA can seller or IRA finance the property, and then you're making principal, profit, and interest. Or you could rent it out. All right. So there's a lot of options if things go wrong. And I think that's important to know, because if fear is the biggest barrier to entry in large scale residential commercial real estate, and we just found some ways to secure our interest, it answers that fear. And we should be more comfortable knowing how to move forward. And that's why I felt compelled to share this information at 3 o'clock in the morning. I started working on this, cleaning this up for this presentation, because I'm realizing that a lot of the content out there is geared to sales. And while sales is one way to earn a life in revenue, the information that people need to get started on their own, or to look with, to be more empowered, or to have in the information you need to become empowered when working with some of these mentors in the books and the courses and the strategies, you need to just, I think, be aware of this information. And I think it's important, so you don't end up like a seller that I'm negotiating with. All right, let's talk about funding options. Cash, budgeted earnings, investments from paychecks. If you're a business owner, you should be putting money towards something. All right, budgeted earnings, that's where you can be getting your cash. Investor partners, real estate agents and sellers. Are real estate agents making commissions? Are they real estate investors themselves? Are they teaching their sellers how to manage their profits from the sale of a property, and that they know somebody can, double, triple, quadruple their money? Are they educated? Are you educating these people so they know how to help you grow everybody's wallets and pocketbooks? All right. Refinances. If you're refinancing, or if refinances all around, that's where you can get the cash from. SRBs, my military brothers and sisters out there, my veterans, if you had an SRB, don't buy a Camaro, put it into a real estate or an IRA, and then buy a building that can buy you 4 Camaros every month. Okay, that's possible, dudettes, everyone. All right, your tax returns, passbook, savings, CDs, and equity. Those are all ways to source cash for you to invest in real estate. Now, IRAs and 401k, your employer, if you're employed, is already putting money into an account. What account is that? What are they doing with it? And and what kind of returns are you getting? Does that investing entity offer a self-directed option with that company, or should you be moving your retirement accounts to a different company where you can manage and assign your own custodian and self-direct your own investments? Are you house rich and cash poor? Oh, you can use a line of credit. If you have equity in your house, you can pull that cash out. All right, do a HELOC or whatever you need to do, refinance. You can pull that cash out, because if you can lend that money out for more than the interest that you're paying, you make money on the spread, just like the bank, just like what we were talking about earlier. All right. Oh, that's one way. What about retirement funds? We talked about that. Here's an article from the Wall Street Journal in 2007. Through a little known tool known as self-directed individual retirement accounts, individuals can pursue a wide variety of investments from real estate to businesses. Now, at least several thousand people are trying to goose their retirement savings by using self-directed IRAs to invest in mortgages, according to companies that promote the strategy. Okay, using their IRAs to make home loans. Boom, another opportunity there. Tons of opportunity. Wow, I didn't know that. Gets you excited, I think. Do you have a whole life insurance policy? If we're talking about building wealth, if we're talking about building our fortune and living our best life, whatever that means to you, where there's financial abundance, okay, a life insurance policy has been preached to me for a long time to have that set up, and you can borrow against that. All right, you can borrow your cash value, which is earning CD rates. You can loan that out to a real estate investor and do the same thing. All right, make money on the spread. What types of investments can be made with your retirement funds? Anything real estate related. Okay, mortgages, single family homes, multi-families, condos, raw land, options, tax liens, notes. Okay, there's money in all of those niches of real estate too. All right, here's some final points. Pints. Let me drink some water real quick. All right, final points. Access the cash and take action. All right, find access to cash and take action. Find that real estate investor, find that cash. The amount of work involved to become a real estate investor, is that something that you're willing to do? Is that something that you have the capacity to do, or do you just want to outsource and find one? They always talk about outsourcing things to build success and momentum. What can you outsource your investments to someone you know, like, and trust from a retirement account, and have everything attorney oversighted? Just, you get to choose. I hope you've learned enough information to become empowered enough to make a decision and get started, or plan to get started and work towards getting started. The rules are governed by the SEC. Okay, huge. Real estate investor terms are negotiated. Another big advantage. Okay, and we talked about the 2 best ways for hands-off building of wealth through real estate investing. All right, and if we were going to add a third, it would definitely be the real estate investor. All right, it's definitely not a bad way. But if we're talking about truly passive, it's finding a way to have your money work for you, and everybody already understands that, I think. All right, work to be involved. Boom, boom, boom. All right, if you want more information, comment reports below. And I think earlier I said FAQ. So whether there's FAQ or reports, this is what you're going to get. All right, 10 key questions on private lending, advantages of tax deferred investing. If you want to keep more money, if you want to earn more money, the first thing you need to do is stop spending so much on taxes, and you need to implement tax strategies in your life at every possible moment. You can save and keep so much more of that money when you know how to use it. Okay, advantages of a self-directed IRA, 401k, LLC. All right, forgot a comma there, but using LLCs as well, or trusts, how to leverage your IRA and 401k, and much, much more. All right, so if you're interested in any of that, drop reports or FAQ down below. My name is Robert LaFrance. Like I said, I'm on a mission to help you make money through real estate. All right, anything that I can help you do in that realm, I'm sharing. my experience and my interest with it, and just want you to be successful. All right. If you want to join the team, if you want to have a conversation, drop some info below. I have resources on the websites too, Pocket Guide for Veterans.info, mymaprobert.com, all kinds of things. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you drop the information below or ask any questions. I will answer them in the comments or create more videos for it. And if you haven't reached out to me for a while, if this is the first video you've seen in a while, it's been a while, just call me and say hi. I hope you're doing good. All right. Have a great one.